All right, ready for a deep dive. Today, we're tackling hope.
Oh, hope.
But not the kind of hope you find on a birthday cake, with the flickering candles and all that. We're going deep. Biblical hope.
Deep dive into
Yeah.
biblical hope.
Yeah. And our guide for this is, believe it or not, a sermon by Pastor Ramona about the wise men.
Oh, the wise men visiting baby Jesus.
Yeah. Now I know what you're thinking.
Been there, done that, got the whole nativity scene thing down.
Exactly. But trust me, this isn't your typical Sunday school lesson.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Pastor Ramona takes this story way beyond the familiar. She delves into the historical context. She unpacks all this symbolism.
Oh, and the characters.
The characters.
Talk about drama makes Shakespeare look dame.
Oh, you mean King Herod?
Yeah, King Herod, she didn't hold back.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
But before we get to all of Herod's drama, what really struck me was how Pastor Ramona starts. She's like, listen, biblical hope. This isn't just some passive wishing well.
Yeah, it's not just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best.
Right, right. She even uses this powerful image. She calls it a rope that binds us to God.
A rope.
Yeah. Think
Why?
about it. A rope. It's strong. It connects. And she's saying that's what hope does. It connects us to God's faithfulness.
And it's active, right? Like you're holding on to that rope.
Exactly. And it's not just based on, wishful thinking. She says it's guaranteed
Yeah.
because of God's actions, his past actions.
Like actions speak louder than words, right? God's kept his promises before, so we can be certain he'll do it again. That's pretty solid ground for hope.
Rock solid. Especially when life throws you those curveballs, right?
Yeah, those inevitable curveballs.
Exactly. And get this. She even brings up King David.
King David, huh?
Yeah, the guy with all the victories, the
Yeah.
Psalms.
Yeah.
Even he had moments where he felt totally, downcast.
Really?
Yeah. Pastor Ramona quotes him, he's like, "Why art thou cast down, O my soul, and why art thou disquieted within me?"
Whoa, that's heavy stuff.
Right. And then he goes on, "Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my God."
Even King David.
Even King David struggles, but his answer, turn back to God.
That's pretty powerful. It makes it feel a lot more relatable.
Totally. If King David can have a bad day and still find his way back to hope, maybe we can too, right?
Right, no matter what we're going through. But okay, speaking of history, to really grasp how massive the hope surrounding Jesus' birth was, we gotta talk about this.
What's that?
The what Pastor Ramona calls the 400 years of silence.
Oh, yeah.
This was the gap between the Old and New Testaments. No new prophecies, nothing. Imagine the anticipation, like centuries of waiting for the sequel to your favorite book.
Centuries of radio silence.
Just clinging to these old prophecies.
It's no wonder those wise men showing up, that star appearing, caused such a stir.
Oh, it would have been huge. And think about it. Those wise men, they weren't Jewish priests or prophets.
No, scholars from the East.
And probably astrologers, right?
Right. Likely, yeah. And they see this star, and they know something momentous is happening.
It's like they're saying, hey, this hope you've been holding on to all this time, it's real, it's here.
And it's bigger than you ever imagined.
But not everyone was thrilled, were they?
No, not everyone. This is where our friend King Herod comes in.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah. Pastor Ramona, she doesn't shy away from it, She paints a pretty grim picture of him. This guy, paranoid about losing power, had family members killed.
That's chilling. And a good reminder that even with all the joy and wonder of Jesus' birth, there were some dark forces at work.
Oh, for sure. But the thing is, Herod's paranoia, it makes his reaction almost understandable in a way.
How so?
Well, put yourself in his shoes. You've spent your life, clawing your way to the top, eliminating rivals, and bam! Suddenly there's this talk of a new king, a divinely appointed one.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's not some abstract, evil. This is fear.
Pure fear, manifesting in, well, a truly horrific way.
Makes you think, how often do we react out of fear, just like Herod, when we're faced with the unexpected? But the wise men, now they had a different response altogether. They embrace the unknown. They follow that star.
And it leads them on an incredible journey.
And here's where things get really interesting, right? They didn't just show up at the manger scene, like we see in those little nativity sets.
No. Pastor Ramona points out that their journey probably took, up to 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. By the time they found Jesus, he wasn't a baby in a stable anymore. He was a young child.
Living in a house.
In a house. So much of those Christmas cards, right?
Right, but it makes their dedication even more incredible. 2 years on the road, following this star, no guarantee of what they'd find at the end. Talk about hope.
Talk about hope. It really shows you, doesn't it, the difference between like wishing for something and really truly hoping.
Yeah, those wise men, they weren't just, hoping for a good outcome. They were going for it.
Yeah, they were all in, putting in the time, the effort.
Mhm.
I mean, who knows what risks they faced along the way.
Speaking of which, those gifts they brought. The gold, frankincense, and myrrh, what's the deal with those? I've always wondered.
Right, like did they just grab whatever fancy stuff they had lying around?
Exactly.
But no, Pastor Ramona says those gifts, they were incredibly symbolic.
Oh, I bet. Gold for a king, right. Frankincense for a priest. And then myrrh. That one's always a little,
A little more bittersweet for sure. Because, back then, myrrh, that was used in burial rituals.
So it's like foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing Jesus' sacrifice. Each gift, it points to a different part of who he is and what he came to do.
Okay, I get it. But let's zoom in on the frankincense for a sec.
Yep.
What was the big deal with that back then?
Well, in the ancient world, frankincense, that was valuable.
Mhm.
Really valuable. More than gold in some cases.
Wow, seriously.
Oh, yeah. It was used for all sorts of things. Religious ceremonies, perfume, even medicine.
So it's not like they were bringing baby Jesus a nice-smelling candle, huh? This was a serious gift.
It was a huge deal. And, their willingness to travel for years to present
Yeah.
these gifts,
Yeah.
that tells you something about their hope, about how much they believed in this newborn king.
It really does. It makes you think, what are we willing to offer for our faith?
Are we as ready to be inconvenienced? To step outside our comfort zones? Invest our time, our talents, our resources?
Big question.
Because Pastor Ramona, she emphasizes it's not about, comparing sacrifices or trying to outdo each other.
Right.
It's about recognizing what we've been given
Yeah.
and offering it back to God as worship.
And that worship, that can take so many forms, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about, singing in a choir or praying. It's about our whole lives, aligning our lives with God's purpose.
Using our gifts to serve others.
Yeah.
Contributing to something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly.
So bringing our gifts to God, that could mean, I don't know, volunteering at a soup kitchen, mentoring a kid, even just being a good friend to someone who's struggling.
Any of that.
Yeah.
It's all about making a difference, big or small.
Okay, that makes sense. But what's interesting is, even after this incredible journey, this act of devotion, the wise men's story, it doesn't end there.
Oh, it doesn't, because remember, they get warned in a dream, don't go back to Herod.
Whoa, divine intervention.
Right. And Pastor Ramona, she uses this to show us something, how God guides us in unexpected ways. It's like we do our part. We follow our best understanding, and then God steps in. Okay, time for a detour.
And I bet those detours aren't always, convenient.
Not always, no.
But maybe that's where the real growth happens, where we learn to truly rely on God.
Could be. That's the beauty of it,
Yeah.
This faith journey, it's not a straight line.
Definitely not. Full of twists and turns, unexpected detours, those moments where we have to, surrender our plan.
To a higher purpose. Makes you think, right? Have you ever had those moments?
Yeah. Start down one path, think you've got it all figured out, and then bam, God redirects.
And those detours, sometimes they lead to the most amazing places.
It reminds me of that verse. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
Yeah.
In all your ways submit to him and he will make your paths straight. But it's not like we just sit back
Right.
and let God do all the work.
No, definitely not. Pastor Ramona talks about this too, how God gives us a head start
A head start.
through his word, the Holy Spirit. Think of it as, God gives us the map and compass,
Okay, yeah.
but we still got to choose to take the journey.
We got to put one foot in front of the other.
Exactly. It's a collaboration. Divine guidance meets human action. God points the way. We walk the path, trusting that he's with us every step of the way.
But that choice to follow, that can be scary, right? Especially when it means stepping outside our comfort zones, challenging our assumptions, taking a leap of faith.
Oh, yeah. And there's this part in the sermon, Pastor Ramona, she says, what has God given you? And he's saying, makes the move.
Makes the move.
Powerful, a call to action, fueled by that deep hope we were talking about. It's not about waiting. It's about doing.
Recognizing the opportunities and then stepping into them.
Yeah.
Boldly.
Exactly. And those opportunities, they're going to look different for each of us.
Right. Maybe it's starting that business you've been dreaming of. Reaching out to an old friend. Taking a class to learn something totally new. It's about saying yes to God, trusting that He'll equip us for the journey.
It is. And, the wise men, they faced uncertainty too. No guarantee that star was going to lead them where they needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But they chose to trust, to move forward.
And their hope led them to something remarkable.
It did.
It's true. And, thinking about the wise men, their journey, it reminds me of that saying, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
I love that.
But in this case, it's more like, follow the star and you'll find the sun.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. And it kind of leads perfectly into how Pastor Ramona wraps up her sermon.
Oh, how so?
She asked this question, what is in your house?
What is in your house?
Yeah, like what could you bring before the Lord? It's like she's inviting us to take stock.
Not of our, stuff.
Right. No, not possessions.
Of our hurts.
Exactly. Like what gifts do we have? What talents? What resources can we offer back?
It's not about, comparing ourselves to the wise men with their fancy frankincense and all that.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's about, recognizing what makes us unique and how we can use those gifts.
For something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Like it makes me think of that story in the Bible, the widow's mite. She gets just a few coins, right? But Jesus says she gave more than anyone else.
Because she gave everything she had.
Exactly. It's not about the size of the gift. It's about the heart behind it.
That genuine desire to honor God with what we have, whether it's, our time, our talents,
right,
money, or just being there for someone, listening.
It all counts. Those little acts of kindness, generosity,
Yeah.
compassion. That's how God's love shows up in the world.
So it all circles back, huh?
Back to hope.
Hope isn't just about believing in a better future for ourselves, but for everyone.
Right, for all of humanity. It's about working towards that future, even when things are tough. Knowing that those small acts of love, those little things we do, they add up.
They create a ripple effect. And maybe, just maybe, they change the world.
Maybe they do. So as we wrap up this deep dive into hope, I'll leave you with a question. What star is God placing in your life right now?
What star?
Yeah. Is it a new opportunity?
A tough situation. A little nudge to step outside your comfort zone. Maybe a call to use your gifts in a way you never have before.
Whatever that star may be, remember those wise men. Be open to the unexpected. Trust God. Don't be afraid to take that next step.
Never know where it might lead you.
And that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.